was going to make this video live on YouTube, but as it turns out, you have to click a button and then wait 24 hours. So this one is not live. Otherwise, I just spend a lot of time uploading it, which makes no sense. Anyways, it is post IQ test, which is interesting. So I was really nervous leading up to the IQ test. Probably is technically the MAT, Miller's Analogy Test, which is a graduate school entrance exam, but counts as an IQ test. All those SAT, the ACT, all those tests are IQ tests, technically. They just don't call them that. I was nervous about it, probably more nervous than I've ever been for a test in my life, oddly enough. And, well, because seeing how well my brain was really functioning. I mean, it feels like it's functioning a lot better, like I've recovered a lot, and seems like it as far as I can tell, and other people have mentioned it. But I really wanted the data, I guess, for confirmation, and it went well. So the day before, because I did the test on Friday, today's Sunday morning. I did the test on Friday, the day before. My neck adjustment didn't go quite right. It was a little too tense on the side, so wouldn't move just right. And then the day of, I woke up, I was a little sniffly. Been a little sniffly lately anyways. And then I've a couple hour drive from here, Twin Lake, to Lansing at Michigan State University for the test, which driving is not good for my neck, and then that fairly quickly affects cognitive function. So Mom and I drove down there, and well, it didn't seem like it went well. And then they print off this little paper at the end. Where is it? Somewhere around here. Ah, yes, this little paper. They print off this little paper and hand it to you. It's kind of hard to see. It's all in small type there. You can see somewhere in there, there's a 444. Where's my finger? There. So it's a really weird scale for the Miller's Analogy Test. It's a 200 to 600 scale. Average is 400, so 444, really easy number to remember for one. And then it's above average, but I couldn't remember how much. I didn't want to psych myself out with trying to shoot for a certain score because you can't figure it out anyways. And I got the conversion chart, and I had to score a 66% on the test to have at least a 132 IQ, which is what's required for Mensa. So that's top 2% of people, or 98th percentile, whichever way you want to say it. And I scored 70%. So that puts me, should be easy within the top 98 or the top 2% in the 98th percentile. So I don't know, it's got to be close to the 99th percentile, but right in there somewhere. So really doesn't particularly matter because it should be good for Mensa. So now I have to wait for the official paperwork to come to me in the mail. I have to take a picture of it, then I have to upload it to the Mensa site and pay a couple of fees for them, and then I can be part of Mensa. So it went pretty well. And then we went to my Uncle Rick's and Aunt Barb's afterwards and hung out with them for a bunch of hours, a lot of talking. That was a lot of fun. That went really well. And then Mom and I drove all the way back home, another couple of hours. And by the time I got back here, I was really feeling the neck. And I haven't had an adjustment yet. My next adjustment is tomorrow on Monday. And then yesterday we drove from Twin Lake to Hesperia to see Kristen and Evelyn and Judah. And yeah, and then today I got to drive to North Muskegon to get milk, and then I'm going to drive to Hesperia to take some to Kristen too, because I'm doing the raw goat's milk thing, and they're trying it out because it's way more nutritious and whatnot. So a lot of driving between adjustments, and it's not great. Like my neck is pretty messed up. I'm not noticing a lot of cognitive stuff yet, but I'm a little bit. Like last night, I just, you can tell you're not quite functioning as fast as you could be, and then feel way more tired and kind of barely stay awake. So, and my neck hurts. So, and my head hurts more. The headache still hasn't gone away. I still have like a headache all the time, which is pretty crazy because that's been since 2015. I've had a headache since 2015. Uh, Pretty wild. And then I'm doing the lordosis thing, trying to restore. We don't know if I ever had curve in my neck because of the deformities. But I'm trying to put some curve into my neck, and well, not sure exactly how that's going yet. To reform tendons and ligaments. I mean, I did all the shoulder stuff. I used to do shoulder rehab stuff for people and myself. And I mean, you're looking at 6 months for ligaments and tendons. You know, bones and muscles, 6 weeks. Ligaments and tendons, 6 months. So it'll take a while. The diet itself is going good though, as long as I eat almost nothing other than just meat. Just a few things. I have some raw milk, which seems to be going pretty good. I eat hamburger, I eat some steaks, and I eat shrimp. And I can eat fish. Just haven't felt like it a ton. But that's about it. And I don't have any bad reactions to all that stuff. But like I have bad reactions to chicken. And I do some pork, but I don't feel as good on pork. I have bad reactions to eggs, including chicken eggs or duck eggs. Mom's really liking duck eggs because I tried those out. I thought it might just be chicken, but it is not. So really interesting. But my immune system is wild, and apparently it doesn't. And my digestive system too. Really weird, confusing. But as long as I really limit the foods, it does seem to not react in an allergic way. And then, oh, money is interesting this month. So I was really close with paying off one medical bill. It was down to $50. So I just paid that off. And so that medical bill's gone finally. So now I'm down to one, which is technically a credit card payment that's been shut off. Now, this was probably stupid. Yeah, this was definitely stupid. In that I paid a lot of my early medical bills on the credit card because I mean, I didn't have insurance when I went to Africa. And obviously, when I first came back, still didn't have insurance. And then I thought it was going to be a short-term thing. So they were like, pay this bill. And I'm like, just put it on the credit card. And then, in a few weeks when I'm better, I'll be working and then I'll just pay it off. And then that kept happening. And I put a lot of money in medical bills on the credit card. And then when I was having the long-term and short-term memory declines and cognitive function declines sharp, wasn't didn't even particularly care, or any kind of fell in priority because it didn't seem like my life expectancy was super long, or it seemed like it was really short. It seemed, I mean, at the rate I was going, I was thinking 24, 48 months. I might not be functioning in 24 months, even if I was still alive. So now I'm still, my life expectancy for my deformity is 35 to 45. So I'm looking at 6 to 16 years on average, and I think I'm doing better than some people, so maybe we can push that to more like a 10 to 20 range. We'll see how that goes. But I have that debt under 10 grand. Now I have to decide what to do because I've been saving up money because my computer's broken right there and held together with electrical tape, and my shoes are blown out. I've had them stitched back together again twice, and my car's falling apart. I have the exhaust system all chained up, the struts are blown on both sides, on the back. It's just falling apart. It's probably illegal to drive because it has so many emissions and it's leaking, and the emergency brake that line's broken, and I have little pieces and parts put in for the gas line and the oil line and the brake lines of all the spots they've rusted out. So the thing is literally falling apart. Pieces are actually falling off, and I haven't put them all back on. If they're not needed to be on, I leave them off. So I have that. And then the thing is, it's not like I can drive a lot anyways because of the impact. So it's not like I could get a job where I have to drive a half hour each way, which is very normal in this area. So I'd be driving an hour a day. That would very quickly, within a few weeks, we'd see major cognitive declines, and then so that wouldn't work. So, no, not sure what to do. I might see if I keep making the one payment, it's like $200 a month. The issue is I'm not making very much money and then I'm going to have a lot of money outgoing for. I have to have the computer, otherwise I can't work, and it's literally falling apart. I have to have the car, otherwise I can't make the trips like to the chiropractor that I have to make during the week. So I have to have the car. So we'll see exactly what I do with that debt. You know, it's a business investment on their side. It's not like I have debt to a family member or a friend or any person at all, to a corporation. So it's not a huge deal to default on that end, that ethical end. And even though I've never missed a payment and never been late, my credit score is crap, 621, because of the way they do the formulas, and it's going to stay there. So it's not like it's going to hurt my credit very much anyways, because my credit's already in the gutter. So, I mean, I've talked to some business people about this, and that's what they would do. They would just default on the credit card, and I see how it makes sense. I mean, really, my money issues are, I mean, they're on the expense end, because I would cut out the $200, which actually makes a difference for me per month. And then, even though it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but the income end is a bigger issue, which gets into the different problems I have, options I have, actions that I need to take. And I mean, obviously, taking some, and things have gone poorly, it seems, over the last couple of years. But really, things have gone well in a lot of ways too. I've paid off several of the medical bills, you know, thousands of dollars when I haven't been making very much money. And even though I can't drive to a job, and I couldn't take a job where I did much of anything physical, I couldn't even take a job where I walked a lot, I have been able to get, you know, decent jobs. At least they're paying in the teens per hour, teaching online, got a certificate and everything there, so I can stay employed. And cognitively, obviously, I've inclined with the whole IQ test, really helps confirm that. But I have to figure out which direction I want to go. And my natural inclination, well, it's weird because it's been years. I've had these issues for years, since late 2015, and my mind still hasn't fully switched over to stuff. Sometimes I hear about adventure stuff, and I'm like, ooh, you know, I should start playing that adventure, which makes no sense at all. Or I think about teaching overseas, which makes no sense at all. It's not logistically possible, just because of my health, much less all my finances, and there's a lot of stuff against it. And it's the same thing with working. Actually, I'm like, oh man, really need to increase my income. And then I'm like, well, I'll just sign up, I'll just work more. And can't. I did that experiment for a month, and that went bad. I declined sharply, working 40 hours a week within the first 2 weeks, and then I barely did well over the next 2 weeks. Didn't do very well, and then it takes me several weeks / a month to kind of recover. So that is a failed program. That's very bad. So I have to figure out how to make enough money to live within 20 to 30 hours a week. And I think 30 is maybe pushing my limits. I try to always work in general. I always try to do things right at my limit. But that is not a natural tendency that's helping me right now, because I have a tendency to step across that limit quite often, and then that sets me back for decent amounts of time now. And well, we're seeing that right now. I'm right in the middle of that, because we did all that driving on Friday, then I did some driving yesterday, and then I'm doing some driving today. I have an adjustment tomorrow, and then my dad and I are going to see my Uncle John before he gets hip surgery down in Ionia. So that's another couple hours driving there, a couple hours driving back on Tuesday. And then I don't have an adjustment on Wednesday. I'll have an adjustment on Thursday. But I'm already feeling pretty bad now as far as my neck, but I'm, you know, doesn't seem to be affecting my mind too much yet, but it will soon. It'll be a good test though, because in May, my mom and Aunt Karen Yarrington, are going down to Omaha, Nebraska to see my older sister Amy and her family. And there's a graduation, and I really want to do that whole trip, but that's 11 hours driving, and then several days without the possibility of even getting a chiropractic adjustment. So I don't just let anyone adjust my neck, and then 11 hours back. So it'll be a good test this week to see how much driving I can take and how much of a delay there is, how much of a lag time between when my neck gets really off, like it is now, my spine's pretty messed up, to when I start feeling major cognitive declines, and then how much of a lag there is there between when I'm functioning well again or decent, or how long it takes for me to start recovering after that. So this will be kind of like a test week for how much driving I can take. And whew, man, the roads in Michigan, they're the worst thing possible for my neck. So there's that whole thing. And then the other thing is, in the end, the only way I'm going to solve my financial problems, or if I were to make a really good hourly wage of, I think right now I could survive okay right now I'm surviving okay on, like, depending on which company I work for and how exactly it goes, between $12 and $16 an hour. But I think I could survive okay on like $25 an hour, but still not well because I'm working such part-time shift. So in the end, the only way to really solve the financial issues are to sell something. I have to get something that I sell. And I don't, I've made ideas for that, but I'm not sure exactly which direction to go on that. I'm obviously not, I don't have a ton of money to put into something to create something or even manufacture something to sell in that way, and then reselling probably isn't going to work out great because there isn't as much leverage there at all. And so after that, I'm probably looking, and it has to be online because not like I can't do driving to places or walking to places, even though I think traveling sales job would be awesome. I can't do it. It's not possible with my spine. So it has to be something from home. So you're looking at information, probably be the best in some way, slash teaching, slash something in that direction. So that's what I'm contemplating now. And I've been pushing myself hard enough on a lot of other aspects that I haven't been writing very much, but also I haven't felt like writing very much. And I'm not sure which direction to go with that. I think psychologically, I'm kind of waiting to hear from this publishing company in England, which I shouldn't be at all, because one, it's highly unlikely that I get published, and then two, it makes no sense. If they do publish me, it'd be a lot better if I had a bunch of stuff written. But they're still looking at my stuff, so that's interesting, at least interesting for sure. Oh, and then I got an interesting book on writing. This book, Cosmic Critiques. So by Isaac Asimov, right? He's one of the greatest. Some people consider him the greatest science fiction writer of all time. And in this book, because he gets, well, he used to get, he's dead now, right? But he used to get tons and tons of letters, obviously asking, what's the secret? How do I write? What do I do? And obviously can't answer them all. It'd take more time than there is in a day. And he wrote this book to make up for that. So it's 10 science fiction stories, 10 good ones, 10 short stories that he likes, several from major author. I think he even put one of his own in here. And then he writes a critique afterwards on these 10 stories of what makes the story work, which was really interesting. And he said he had to write the book because people would ask him for the secret. And if he told people, he's like, I don't have a secret. I don't even know if maybe most of my career is that I got lucky. He's like, I really don't know. He said no one would believe him. No one would believe him. They thought he was just trying to hide the secret so that no one else could become successful. So he decided to write a book to help the people that wanted to be helped and put to bed rumors that he was hiding some sort of secret to his writing success. Really interesting, really interesting. Anyways, I think that's all the big stuff. The IQ test was the big thing I've kind of been waiting slash building up for, and the driving and neck experiment that I'm doing, I guess, is interesting, and the diet is going well. It's kind of boring. Some people really like it, but I don't like eating just like 2 to 4 hamburger patties a day. Not super you know, I would like some other stuff. Sometimes I do crave other stuff too. I just sometimes a taste like pops into my mouth. I'm like, oh, that would be so good, and I haven't had it in a year or something. And but still, I just feel like it's really weird, but I don't because the consequences to my health are too bad. Throat swells up a little bit, and I feel worse. A lot of bad stuff. And then the money stuff is obviously improved somewhat. I eliminated one payment per month. And then I'm still debating what to do exactly on that other one or how to treat it, but I think I have to do at least something unusual. And I mean, I have to solve some unusual problems, so I have to do some unusual stuff that's only reasonable, that only makes sense. And then I'm thinking about how to solve some of these other problems. And there's a small possibility that I get one of my short stories. I submitted both my short stories, and they're having 2 anthologies. And there's a tiny, tiny little possibility that I get published in there. So we'll see. All right. Until next time, goodbye. Maybe next time I'll be live. We'll see. YouTube approves me.